Welcome back everyone to another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll build the front end for this weather app that we will build very soon. We'll add the back end very soon. But we are building the front end first. And I think it's the first time I'm doing this on the channel because a member suggested that instead of providing the templates or the starter files for the Django apps we have been building so far, I should teach how I also build my front end so that those who want to learn front end development can learn it. And I like the idea very much. So I decided that, okay, now we will build a front end first, and then we'll build a back end also. And this particular one will be available also in a Tailwind CSS playlist because Tailwind CSS is my CSS framework I use. For those who want to also learn just the Tailwind CSS for front-end development or with other stacks, or just to learn it, can also have a place to learn it without really involving in Django or JavaScript or any other backend. Okay, so this is it. It has a name here. Obviously, you are very good at names than I am, so you can give a better name. And this is our search bar where we search for the cities. Can search for London. And it doesn't do anything, so that it has passed it through the URL, but doesn't do anything. And this is for the statistics, like the card. You can see it, and the other statistics are also down here: the temperature, wind, and humidity, which we will later get from an API if we are building the backend. So this is all that it is. It is also responsive, so you can see obviously it's responsive for all screen sizes also. And so let us get into the building of this thing from scratch. Okay, so I'm in the directory where I want to create the project. What I'll do is to right click and open in terminal. If this option is not available for you and you are on Windows, you are also okay to use the command prompt. You can just type cmd here, and then it will open the command prompt for you in that directory. But that is not what I will do. I will use the git bash. I think I have more than one open. Let me open it again. The git bash that comes with the Windows terminal. But if you're on another operating system, there should be a way to open the terminal in that particular directory. So, as I said, I use Tailwind CSS for my front-end CSS framework. So let me just type in Tailwind CSS. Okay, but before then, let me type code dot to open Visual Studio Code in this particular directory. That is the editor of choice for this video. You can use any other editor as long as you know your way around it. Just find a way to open the folder in that particular editor, and then let's go. And let's go to tailwindcss.com and go to the docs, that is the getting started. See here, they are giving us some couple of commands that we should use. So let me just copy this, paste it in here, and press enter to have it installed. And this works for me because I've already installed Node.js on my computer. If you don't have Node.js, probably it will throw an error. So what you have to do is to come and then search for Node.js. And this very first link that says nodejs.org, you can click on it. It will take you to this page. Please download the recommended for most users. And I think the installation is straightforward. Just accept the default, and it may have to download some files, so be sure you are connected to the internet while you are downloading. Okay, let's come back to this place. You see that it's created a tailwind.config.js file. If you go back to Visual Studio Code, you see that you have some other things here. This is a file that it says that's created. And let's go back to our Tailwind CSS. Well, let me even put this one side by side. Okay. The next step is to replace this content here. So because I'm targeting this tailwind, like a tailwind course for beginners, forgive me if you already know about these things. We have to provide in here what is called the content. So the content is just this thing here that we have to replace. So if I copy and paste this, usually for JavaScript, for React or Next.js, those are the two I know and I use. So there's always like a source file, and inside it there may be JavaScript files, .js or JSX and those things. But because we are only coming to use HTML, we can just get rid of all of this and just the star.html. That means the star means go and find all HTML files in this particular directory and probably subdirectories, and then find the Tailwind CSS classes that are in there, and then use the Tailwind. I don't know, it kind of writes the CSS for us, so we'll get to know very soon. So looks at the classes and then writes the CSS for us. And we are also told to add the Tailwind directives to our main CSS file. So we don't have one yet. All we have to do is to click here, and usually it is called inputs.css. You can call it anything. And then paste in these ones. Okay. This error or warning that will not really affect you, so don't worry about it. And we have to come here and run this particular command. So let me just copy it. And before then, let me create an index.html file. If you are using Visual Studio Code, you can just click on this, press this exclamation sign. It will give you a boilerplate or a template that you can use. Once again, let me call it weather me. That's the title for the HTML or the page itself. Okay, what happens is that, okay, let me show you first why I'll do that, and then I'll explain that later. This is the command that will, let me say, write the CSS for us using the classes that we give now HTML. And you see that ideally it's going to look for the CSS inside the source folder, but we don't have a source folder, so I have to clear that one off. And then it will look for one inside the dist folder. That will not be the name. This one will be style.css. And then I can also clear it, so that make sure that it's also like this, just like I have it. Or if you have any other folder structure that you want it to follow, you can do that. But this flag of watch, that means that if I take off the watch and I press enter, something will happen. It will tell me that it's rebuilding, and of course it has rebuilded. We have a warning that no utility classes were detected, and that is the warning I wanted to show you. But we see here that it has been done in 308 milliseconds. When we come back, there will be another file that we did not create. It was created by Tailwind. This is this style.css that all our styles will be written in. And so it is saying that it did not find any utility classes because in here we have not even put anything here. So in an H1, yeah, let's just say weather me. And in here, what we do is that inside the class, we can give some Tailwind classes like if I want to make the text very large, maybe text for Excel. If I want to make it bold, I'll say font bold. And then I'll press on, I'll save. If let me go live here. I'm using the live server extension. See that nothing actually happened. And if those classes that, as you see, as I was typing like maybe text white, you see that things are popping up, Tailwind classes are popping up. If you don't have it, please come to extensions and then search for this Tailwind CSS extension. This one, there's Tailwind CSS IntelliSense. Make sure that you have installed it. It will really help a lot. And another one, the live server extension that I'm using, so you can just say live server. And then you get that one too here to install. This one by Rhetoric Day. Okay. Ideally, this one, if I should change the color to red, so text red. And then let me choose the shade 600. You see that the color did not change, even though I'm using the live server. And that is because we did not attach the watch to this command. And because of that, we have to painfully run this command every time we add a new class to our HTML file, but that takes so much time. So this is the function for the watch. It just keeps on watching. Anytime we add a new class and save, it will rebuild it for us. So you see that now it was done, but did not end the command. Now if let me just try and then refresh. Okay, I don't know why I've not, maybe because I've not saved it. Let me make this one font semi-bold rather. Okay, looks like something is wrong somewhere. And yes, something is very, very wrong. This thing usually happens to me, I don't know why. We have not linked our CSS file yet. So we just come here, type link and CSS, and automatically VS Code will fill in for me. It knows that it has to look for the start of CSS. If I click on S, Control S, and you see that it has given me a red color here. So that's how Tailwind CSS works. But this is not so much like a Tailwind CSS crash course, so I'll just go ahead and then build it from scratch. And I hope that my explanations will help you to understand it, even if you are a complete beginner. Okay, the only file we need now is this index.html, which I'll try and wrap so that you see everything that is happening. Okay, so the first thing is inside the body tag. The body itself should have some class. But before then, let me open up the finished product so that we can have what we use for comparison side by side. Okay, so this is the finished product. And this is what we are building. Let me just close out from all of these tabs that we are not using again. So we just know that this is what we are building. You see that there's a background image. So let's see how we can do that in Tailwind CSS. That one is on the body itself. So a class of, and that's how we do it. So background, you do a hyphen and then we here say URL, sorry. And then now you have to provide a URL with respect to the HTML file. So relative to the HTML file, instead there's an images folder up here. I have one called a BG image. I'll put a link to the download of this image in the descriptions. I got it from FreePay from, I think the author is Skyline also, but you find all of them in the description. And there's also another one called 116 and then 113.png, which I got from OpenWeather. I will link all of them, how to get them in the description below. So then here you provide the URL with respect to the HTML file. So we have to say /images and then slash, and the name is bg underscore image dot jpg. Let me close out from this place. And that is it. So if I come back here and I save, no, I don't save this one. I save this one. I should expect it, but we have to also give in some other stuff before it will look like the one that we saw. So let's continue with the classes. The next class is bg-center to bring it to the center. And so when you save it, it looks like nothing has happened. Okay, some changes occurred. And then the next one is bg-cover to cover the whole screen or the whole viewport. So vg.cover. And then you see that it has repeated itself because it's trying to cover, and then it has to also repeat itself to fill all the screen. So you don't want this thing, so you just have to say bg no repeat, this one. Okay, and then now we say it shouldn't repeat, so it has just given us only one, but it has covered the viewport and the width and the height of the image as it should. So let us also make sure that it fills the whole screen, and you can say min a screen. And one sweet thing about this Tailwind CSS is that the extension that we installed is that when you put your cursor on it, you see the actual CSS that is being rendered, which is we are just declaring that the minimum height should be 100% the viewport height. Minimum height, sorry, should be 100% the viewport height. And then when we added that, see that now it is filling the whole screen. In fact, if I make this larger, it's still filling the whole screen, and that is it. So, but this particular, you see that there's this what you call the app name or title, there's this search area, there's this card, whatever name you give it, and there's this place also. All of them are arranged column in a column. And I use flex for that, so you can see here that the should be flex. And then let's say flex. By default, Tailwind CSS makes it a flex of row, so you have to say that it should be column before it actually makes it a column. The gap between the elements or each space is 5, and then we can say that the item should be centered, so item center, and then we want to justify start, but I will not do that one for now. Let's give it a padding of 10, which is P10. Okay, it looks like nothing has happened, but you see that it is moved this thing into the center of the screen, giving it a padding up there. Okay, I think we will maintain this one, but let's also before then let's put it in a div. This one was just to test something. So this div will have a class of w-fit that should fit the whole screen as much as it can, and then it should fit the content that it contains. So, and then it should also be flex, and then items center. And then inside that div, we are now creating the title div. So let me just try and then comment it out as much as I can. So app title or something like that. App title. Okay. Now we put in this, and then now let's also link the image. So img. Okay. The source now is /images/ this one will be the 116.png. I don't think I need the source set, no. But the alternative will be maybe something like app icon or something like that. And if I save it now, you see that it appears there already, but we have to change the colors for it to match the original one. So for the original one, it's not text red, it's text white, and the text size is not 4XL. The text size is 2XL rather, and then it is font bold as yes, not semi bold, it's font bold actually. So when we save it, it should look like that one. In the finished app, I made it a class of width 14 and then height of also 14. Okay, that is okay. And then that is done with our app title. So let's go on then to the next one, which is the search bar. Okay. And let me mention that Tailwind is a mobile first framework. You understand it very soon. At least maybe with this type of app, you not really understand it, but as we go along, I will try and explain it to you. Whatever CSS we type is first applied to the mobile, so we have to now give it other breakpoints and hot values they should have. And so now to our search bar, which will just be a form. So let's just say form, and this one will be, let me bring it up, form, but to be a get form. We are not, it's not a post form. This action, let me leave it for now. And then inside the form, we have two things. The first is the input, and then we have to get an icon, the search icon, which we will get from ion icons. So just search for ion icons like this and come here. Let me try and then make it. Here we can go to usage, and then it tells us that we have to, before to install it, and if we want to use it in our, we just have to put these scripts here before the closing body tag. So just copy it, and then inside the HTML before the closing body tag, just paste it there like this and save it. Okay, and then now you can come back to the icons, and then come to this field side. I'm looking for search. I'll pick this one. You see the web component place, just click on it, it will copy it for you. Then we can come back to our CSS, our HTML file. Okay. And then after the input, we give a button of submit this, and then inside there we paste the icon, and you see that it will also appear at the side there. Okay. Now let's get to the styling of our form. For the form, the class will be flex, and then I want to give a gap of gap 2 should do, and then there is the width of 4 on 5, so 4/5 the viewport width. So you can just see that that's 80% of the viewport width. And this width that I've typed there applies to this mobile framework first. So let me just save it. For now, it doesn't look like it, but let us continue with this, and I will tell you what I mean. Items center, and then justify also center to keep everything in the middle. Justify center. Okay. And let's keep this one for now, and then we will come back to it, and I will explain something. So inside our input here also, let's give a class of py, which is padding y of 2, padding x of 3, and then w-4, that is, you take the full width as it's available. And this w-4 also applies to the mobile first, and I'll explain what I mean. W-4 want to also round it. Okay, let me save it as I go so that you see the changes. So rounded. Also, I want the rounded -4. That means I want it. That one, because it applies the 999 radius, or yeah, rounded -4. Now give it this nice round. And then you saw that the finished app did not have. You see, when you click on it, it's there. It only has the outline here, but when you click on it, it changes. So let's work on all of them. Now, when I click, it's just this black outline that I don't like. So the background now should be white. Okay, the text also should be white, because when we are typing it is white. Text white. And then the text size should be text LG. If you want to see what it means, you just put your cursor on it, and then the Tailwind CSS intelligence, the extension we installed, will tell you. So it will be text LG, and then there will be outline, and then outline of 1. That means should be give an outline of 1 pixel, and then, or let's even make it 2, an outline of 2 pixels, and then we just want to say backdrop blur. That means you blur the background for us. That one should be blur LG. Let's save it. See so far what we've done. You see that it has increased the size a little bit, but when we click it in focus, there's something that still happens. So what we can do is that we just say that focus, when it is focused, background also should be white, but we want 20% opacity. Yeah. But the outline, because it's constant, let's give it an outline color of 70% white. So outline white, and then 70. Okay, something is not happening right, because outline was not stored correctly. Okay, so now it's that even when I click, the outline goes, the background goes like, okay, the opacity reduces, and when I click out, it comes out like this, but there's no placeholder inside here. So placeholder says enter city. Okay, Let us work on the transition. That transition happens so fast. So what we can do is to come somewhere and say is, in, out. There are a lot of them. And then we can also say now do the duration should be 500. So now we see that it does it slowly, and that is nice. I think the outline is still a little bit small, but that is still okay. I think you can still see it. So let's now move and style the button also. For this button here, I don't think you apply the class to the button. Let's apply the class to the icon rather. The text should be white. We want it as a white. And then there should be some padding of, say, 3 to do. And then let's make it, P3. And then font black. That doesn't mean there should be a black color. That means the font width is very, very large. And then there is also rounded, full. Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay, we've not added a background, so let's give it a background of white, 50% white. So bg dash white slash 50. Okay, I think we have something showing up. Let's compare it to the other one. I think this is a little bit smaller. So let's increase the font size. It's going to say test 2 XL and C. Okay, I think it looks very close to the, yeah, I think they are the same. They actually are. Okay, let's come back. But it looks like the outline for this is still very small. That is because I misspelled outline here again to outline. And now it looks the same. Okay, so let's move ahead and build this card. It has this background blur, and then it also has this scale up effect. Okay, but I said I'll show you something. See now when I bring it to the last screen, see that this search bar is just so long, and you may not want it like that. And that is because where is this class? Okay. This form in which this one sits is taking for 80% of the screen all the time. So you can see that it's not actually to the ends of the screen, it's taking 80% all the time. And that is because we told it that it should take 80%. So for all screen sizes, it will take 80%. But we can now say that when it gets to the medium breakpoint, you can search for it in the Tailwind documentation. They have the breakpoints there, the number of pixels that the breakpoints that define the breakpoint. In the medium, we can just say that make the width now 3/5, which should be 60%. So let's make it that way and see something. See that now it's not filling up to where it was like the other time. I think this one was not how I did the initial one, but I would like it this way. Still, I think that, but in the initial one, I added an LG for the LG breakpoint, and that one I said that the width should be 35%. So I can type it in here like this and say 35%, and that will also work. So that one, when it hits that point, is that in the large screen is also like this. Now I'm not confused between the medium and this one, but I think this one should also be cool. Okay, so that is it about the mobile first framework. So whatever we type here, it applies to the mobile until we add the breakpoints to it. So let's add the breakpoints also to, I think this one doesn't even need a breakpoint because it actually fills in for the parents. Okay. The next one we are building is the card, which you can call, let me say, city card or something like that. We'll make it one div and treat these ones separately. The one at the left and then the image at the right. So okay. This is how I build it. I first build the HTML structure, then apply the classes with Tailwind. One that should come to the left, so a div with an ID of left, and that one should contain tag. We can just say 24. Let me copy because it will be some. I have to bring up the character map to get this degree symbol. So 24 degrees Celsius, that's for the P, and then we can duplicate it down to say now, showing that we are reporting the weather in real time. And that will be also for, I think we have to put this one also in another div so that to represent the top part. You see, this place is also up into two. There's a top part and the down part. So this div contains the top, and then after this div, the top div, you can just now say that another P tag, and then say London or whichever city that you want to put there, UK. Okay, so let's come back to our build. You see that it is there. Let's add the image also now. So the image will be in a right div to right. Okay, img, the source should be /images, and then I think this is the 113. Okay, yes, that is it. Now let's style this city card app. For the mother div, for the city card, the padding should be 5. Width, just like the one at the top there, so the width should be 4/5 for the start. So for the mobile, I'll be saving as I go along so that you see that it's there. Let's add the background so that we can really see it well. So the background is white, but the opacity is 20. Okay, you can see that something is popping up around there. And then let's do the rounded corners to be 3XL. So rounded 3XL here. Okay, it's taking shape. The background too was blurred, so that one is backdrop blur. Let's pick the SM. Now you see that it has been blurred against the background nicely. And then now let's give the text white because the text inside of should be white. And then we also have to give it a shadow of 2XL. That brings out some shadow. You may not see it in the screen, but on your screen the shadow should be visible. The cursor should be pointer. I prefer it, so I don't know if you don't prefer it, you can leave that one. That one means that when I put the cursor on it, it will be a pointer, like the pointing hand. Okay. And then you see that the finished one has a scaling up effect, so let's do that one. I want the transition there to be ease in out, and then the duration should be 500 milliseconds. And then now I can say on hover, give it a or scale it up, and then I will not take the default CSS ones. I'll put in my own, which is 105. But I think Tailwind has that one, 105%. So when I do that now, I hover, I should see some increase, scaling up nicely like that. Now I think that should be all for this. Yes. No, there should be a flex because you know that it's now bringing it everything up in a flex call. Maybe because you have not just given it a flex. So display of flex come in front here. Let's see. Okay, so immediately you see that it has given it us in a flex row. As I told you, the flex in Tailwind CSS is by default the row. So now let's come to this div the left here. We have a class of flex and then flex call. That means flex in a column, flex column. Okay, and then that should be all for that. And then the next one, which is this we give it a class of MB, that's the margin bottom of, let's give it 6. Yeah. That will push it down to, it's gradually resembling this build now. So now let's work on the P tag. So this one should be class. The text here is quite large, so class of font bold. Okay, the text should be 5XL, so text 5XL. And then the text should be white, as we have already declared that place. So we give that one to the mother div, so we don't have to worry about it. So now it comes out so nice here, like this. Okay, so now let's work on the noun. I think that should be, the noun will be maintained just like that, but I think we should just increase it to text for semicolon. So font, class of font semi-bold. And then I think that should be all for it. That should be all. Yes, that is it. Exactly the same. Okay. And now let's work on the UK. That one to have a class of font semi-bold, and then the text XL, and then this one too should have a text. Yes, that should be all now. Okay, so that is it for it also. And now let's come to the image. Oh, we didn't give an alternative here. So maybe weather image or something like that. Any appropriate alternative. But the class should be no, let's apply a class to this div right before. So class of flex. I want justify center and then item center, just to get this one at least to be in the center first. And then where is this one's class? The images class, you just give it a width of 28 and a height of also 28. Okay. And you see that this one is here, but this one is still attached to this place, and that is if we come to the mother div and just give it a justify content of between, space between, that should solve the problem. So the mother div, justify content of between, something has not been done properly. Okay, the space, justify content of between, space, that is space between, and then it will place them at the terminals and then give a space between. So this part is also done. Now let's move ahead to the last part, which gives us the statistics. And so we can just say whether statistics. Okay. And that one, there will be a left side. So let's just keep things organized. So left, and okay, we'll get to the right very soon. Let's give the ID of data ID of left. Okay. Inside the left, there's the weather icon, and there is also the particular weather at the time, which is now sunny, and then the weather description. So the IMG, no, let me give the comments first. There is the icon, which is an IMG of, for now, source of dot slash images slash, let me just choose the 113 also again, and let's see. Okay, but let's look on this one and build. We'll go back and then see the changes that we've made. And then on the icon, after the icon, there is weather also. So weather, which is a p tag. For now, let's just say sunny. Okay. And then after that, there's the weather description, or let me just say description for now. And that one also is a p tag that says clear sky. Okay. Now let's go back and check. Okay, now it is here like this. But let's finish up with this one so that we know that we are not coming back to this place again. Or at least let's just finish it up and then start everything up at once. And then now we are done with the left, so the right side should come. Okay. That one too, you see that it has three separate cards, and then each of them also have their own configuration in between. So this one, there's first the temperature. To be able to work on them effectively, I think I'll put all of them in a div, in their separate div. And so temperature will have its div, this one will have its div, and all that. And then inside the, I think we need icons again. Yes, we need icons again. So the same iron icons, let's search for temperature. Yes, temperature brought up the thermometer. And let's copy this and paste it here. Okay. And then after the icon, what we need to add, let me come back. I think it's best to put those ones also in a separate div. Yes. So in a separate div so that we can separate them and work on them easily. I know we are doing a lot of div stuff, but I think it shouldn't be so confusing for you to follow. That's how I try to do my stuff so that it will be simple for me to keep track of. Here, the temperature should be 26.08 degrees. I think it should match the first one. So 24. Let me copy it once again. 24 degrees Celsius. And then there's another P tag that says temperature. Okay, now the sweet thing is that I can duplicate this 2 times. Change this temperature to wind. And then this one also to wind. Maybe wind speed so that it will give a good description. And this place too can be wind speed. Okay, and then the last one should be humidity. Okay. Temperature, wind speed is obviously not 24 degrees Celsius, so that one should be 1.18 meters per second. And then humidity should be 89%. Okay, that should be all for the front end here. Let's come back to this place and see all that we have done. I see that they are all in here like this, not so nice, but don't worry, we'll make it look like this very soon. And so let's get back to the mother div for this weather statistics. Give it a flex, W-4, and then justify between. Okay. And then this background color, I picked it from the image, the background image itself. So just put this bracket here and then type this hex code 0198A FB6. That is the color. So when you put it there, see that it's now showing correctly. And then no, I think I've placed this on the wrong. Okay. 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 I've placed it on the wrong. There should be a div topped it before, so that it will house all of them, but I forgot to bring that one. That is what I think I'm writing in, so I'm sorry about that. Just create this one, and then let me see where the right one ends. Just add this one as the last one, so that it will now see that now the background converts all of them, and that is what we want. And immediately you see the flex has even brought them to shape almost close to the finished product. Padding of 3, and then let's give a backdrop blur of 2xl. So backdrop blur of 2xl, and there should be ease in out. So let's also give rounded. This one should be xl, and then we want an but we don't need this. But the width should also change depending on the screen size. So on medium screens, we want a width of 3 on 5. And on larger screens, if you prefer, we want a width of 35%. Okay. That has changed the shape for us somehow. And okay, now let's work on them. I think that should be all for the mother div. Now let's come to the left. It should be flex co. Okay, flex co, and then justify stats. So justify stats. Okay, looks like nothing has happened because it's already at the end. And let's come now to the image. I think the image class will not touch it, but for the weather, we just say a class of font bold, text of 4xl, and then text. Okay, that should do. Text white. Okay, and then to the description also, let's give it a class. Text semi bold, and then text white. Not text equal to semi bold, text semi bold. Okay, that is all for that one also. And then the right side, we wanted the weight should be 50% of this this div that is in. So the view should be 1 on 2. Okay, and that is for all screen sizes. Whatever the screen size is, the view will be 1 on 2. Flex, and then flex. We actually need a flex column because I think it should always be. Let's just be safe. And then this one we say space Y. You will not really see what the space is doing, so I'll leave it for now and I'll come and do it later. Let's come now to the individual ones. So inside temperature, what we want to do is flex w.full, and there should be justify around. Okay, I think the background color brings everything live, so let me just bring the background color of 30% white. So bg white /30 okay, and then the padding also should be 1 rounded LG. Okay, That has brought it more live. And then I think item center, because our items are item center. Okay, so that the thermometer comes into the center of it. And where is our thermometer? Yes, the class of this one also should be width of 8, so W dash 8, H dash 8, that's width 8, height 8, and then text white. Okay, but let me give a gap here. And the temperature is of 6, so gap of 6. That brings some space in between them. So now I can go ahead and then start the class also. This 24 class of font bold text 2XL and then text right. Okay, for now let's leave it, and then for now text right. That should do, because you see that the 24 is not it's left aligned with the text, but I think it should be right. So text right. And then there should be also, I think in the final build, the background, that the colors were different. So also text. And then the color I used also is this color code of FF5A00. Okay. That gives it that color for us. And then now we can start the temperature also, which should be a class of text SM. That's small. The text size should be very small, small and not very small. Text white, and then text right. Okay, so that is it. I think it's the same for the others, so we can carefully copy the classes instead of just typing everything from scratch. You can carefully copy the classes for this one. This is the temperature, so I can copy, give it to wind speed, and then give it to humidity. Okay, come back to the icon, also copy this class. Okay. This name should be changed. You should change the names. They are all not thermometers. But let's deal with the classes and see. Okay, now everything is coming. And then for the P tag here, I forgot one thing. For the P tag, I should be copying everything. And then here. Okay, the last one is the small text. Okay, but you can see that they are all stuck together, like they stuck together. That's what the space Y will do that I talked about earlier on. So inside the right, you can just give a space Y2. And that gives it the spaces in between them nicely. And let's now change these icons. Let's change them. So this one, let's check. This one probably, if we type speed, something like speed, we'll get it. So speed, I said it, and it's here. So you don't need everything. It's called speedometer. So we just have to change this one to speedometer. Where the speed, just the thermometer to speedometer. Speedometer. Let's come back and confirm that's changed. And then the other one is this one. Should we type something like, let me say rain? I think it's this one. So I just have to say rainy. Okay, and that is it. Let's check our responsive design also. Okay, obviously we have not done it for the card and then the statistics. Oh, I did it, but these W's were capital letters. That's why it didn't work. So this one is for the weather stats. Let's copy it and give it to the card also. The main card div. Okay. And now they all respond according to the screen size. Nicely like that. Okay, so that, my friends, is how we create this simple but very nice weather app interface with Tailwind CSS. If you are looking forward to build a backend of this with Django and maybe JavaScript, a plain JavaScript, then you can check the description. Any of the videos are available for those backends. I will paste the link in the description so you can check there and then take this UI a step further. And if you like the video, please give it a like. It really gives me motivation to create amazing content. And consider subscribing if you are new. Bye for now.